And this is the South Florida Business Today show, and then now it's time for one of your favorite segments, which is Arttalk with the lovely and talented Susana Baker. And I see her; she's in the studio, and you're on time, unlike myself, who just got here about a minute late with all the rain. And how are you doing today?
I know, it's a rainy day versus all the sunny ones we've been having. But, I like it, especially when you're a homeowner and you really get home late and you can't water the lawn. This really helps get my grass green. Anyway, I have to tell you, it's a great morning. It's sunny for me because I'm looking at a really beautiful, brilliant sight in front of me. And I got to tell you, in the words of Brianna Satay, that writes for New Times, history has given us a great deal of very important mothers, right? Mm-hmm. Mother Goose, Mother Herbert, Mother Teresa, Mother Jones. But we have a new mother in the art scene, especially in Wynwood. Actually, she's iconic to Wynwood. You see her, she's a fixed item. When it comes to any gallery art walk, there is Momma is in the house. Myra Wexler, good morning.
Good morning, yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo to you. I have to tell you, you have really, coming from a native Miami, born, raised, a socialite, by all means, from Coral Gables.
We're in big trouble.
Yeah.
We're in big trouble. I'm a socialite. We're all screwed.
Well, let me tell you something. You have this dynamic personality. You have been embraced by all the street artists, Chandra. You have become this iconic image of all the street artists. And, coming from a retail merchandise background and having your store, which is very famous, the Red
Road Kids Club.
Right, the Red Roads Kids Club, which is for fancy little people, fancy toys, fancy clothes. And so you've done great in that. And then now, I can just imagine all the socialite parties you grew up with, going to every single thing. And then now, fast forward 5 decades later, now you're like, yo, yo, yo.
Yo, I'm in the house. This is my life. I'm going to be 65 this coming month in May.
You look terrific.
I forgot to get married or have children. My Red Road Kids Club was a wonderful vehicle for me, and I believe that was in lieu of having children. I had that retail operation. I had been a rep in the gift industry, and I brought an unusual mix to my retail operation and set the tone for what retail is today, to be honest with you, in terms of, it was a children's clothing store, but I sold gifts. They lined up for birthday gifts. I did the most unusual creative packaging with personalizing their names and ribbons and blah, blah, blah. I've always been a trendsetter. I'm hyper visual. For some reason, I don't know, that must be my gift. And I attribute it to having grown up in Coral Gables at a time when there were restrictions still for Jews and blacks. My father built a house in Coral Gables. Our backyard was the Riviera golf course that at the time...
That was a taboo.
No Jews or blacks allowed.
Wow.
And so I witnessed, Governor Leroy Collins with integration and my mother was always very committed and involved in the community with women's rights and maybe more so Jewish kind of causes. My dad was the ultimate salesman. He was president of Muzak. We grew up going to the Cabana at the Saxony Hotel on Miami Beach, although we lived in Coral Gables. Driving across MacArthur Causeway where the Fifth Street Gym was at the time when Muhammad Ali was Cassius Clay and training. So these are the kind of memories that I have, and I listen. I'm immersed in my Miami. I own it. It's like I feel like this. It is my hometown. I love the fact that my parents met New Year's Eve at the Orange Bowl Parade on downtown Biscayne Boulevard, 1945, going into 1946. They were both, from my mother was from Hazleton, Pennsylvania. My dad was from Peoria, Illinois. He was out of the Army. She was a nurse. They were married 6 weeks later.
Oh my God.
You know, and I've grown up here. I've witnessed the changes. And fast forward, in 2006, I was able to retire. And I ended up moving to Broward County to be with my mom because we're all that's left of a family. She didn't want to be alone. So my good fortune, I got to, you know, every woman's dream to be an adult and live with your mother, not. But we managed to be there for each other in spite of the 24/7 kind of Woody Allen, you know, script that is written on a regular basis. It's never too late to have a happy childhood. I retired. I immersed myself in the arts, and I have continued having an adult education by taking advantage of what Museum of Contemporary Art, the Bakehouse, the Wolfsonian, MAM, who am I leaving out? But all of these institutions have, if you're a member, they offer lectures and guided tours, and I availed myself to it, and I was taken in by it because my aesthetic was always about pretty, decorating, embellishing. You know, what didn't matter how you felt, it was how you looked. You know, what a superficial concept, but unfortunately that was the MO of my growing up, and you know, that's changed a lot too, because today I find myself on a spiritual path, and how important that is, especially in Wynwood, especially in the world with all that's going on. And so the streets, I ended up getting a ringside seat in front of Joey's Italian restaurant in December of 2009 to write a column for socialmiami.com that morphed into a monthly luncheon that I invited philanthropists and artists to come and schmooze, and we took pictures, and I wrote about it for socialmiami.com. That became Musing at Morgan's, which was a weekly happy hour kind of thing for artists to come and network. And then it became Musing with Myra, and we moved to Wynwood Kitchen and Bar, and the rest is history. I don't do that anymore. I've kind of moved on. I had the honor to be hired by Goldman Properties for the week that was Art Basel to be the face of their new shop that had its grand opening then, Go Shop Wynwood, which is located in the Wynwood Walls, which is a curated outdoor gallery of phenomenal art. Throughout Wynwood, there is incredible art in the streets. Much of it sanctioned, much of it not.
Right.
Not unlike Lincoln Road, what's happening now is developers are coming in. They're buying up the property. The rent is going up.
Right.
So the artists who laid the groundwork are being forced out because they can no longer afford it. And that brings up new neighborhoods, such as downtown Miami, where my friend Sean McCormick has McCormick Place.
Yes.
And my friend artist Eliezer Delgado has opened a big studio there.
Yeah.
And the whole corridor, I mean, Bird Road Art District is another. Mano Fine Arts is out there.
Yeah.
Antonio Guerrera, the Cuban Art Project. Blah, 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 blah.
Right. I want to talk to you. Okay, you went on to writing for socialmiami.com, hosting these wonderful art musing with Myra, which it became. But they're, talking about how the embellishment of the years as you grew up in Miami and the social scene. I mean, now you fast forward and your look has become a very iconic look, which is the bandana. My art is my weapon. And that is amazing because as you go through the streets of Wynwood, or if you go through some of the great places, you will see this sticker art all over saying, obey your mama. Myra. And you can't help to see it because your distinct, very iconic look with your white hair, spiked up, and this bandana. Two visuals that really are just contradicting, but they're fabulous.
I'm appropriating Andy Warhol and Shepard Fairey.
Absolutely.
And Art is My Weapon, I'm appropriating as well from my buddy, Nobody in the House. That is Mr. I Am TMNK. I Am the Me Nobody Knows, who's a very accomplished graffiti street artist from New York. He is collected worldwide with shows in Paris, Norway, Berlin. He's presently in Miami tagging up a storm.
I have to tell you, I had the pleasure a couple of weeks ago to bring Chor Boogie from Puerto Rico. He was doing a mural there for the Museum of Art of Puerto Rico in San Juan. And he cut a day early, which I'm so appreciative and just full of gratitude, to fly in and do a project for me for Aspira, the kids, the inner city kids. It was called Murals for Morale. And so he did this mural for us. And on that Saturday was Art Walk. So Friday he flew in, did the mural. We sold it. It was a huge success. And then on Saturday I joined him for Art Walk. All of a sudden people were tweeting, Chor Boogie's in the house. And all of a sudden comes this guy on a skateboard. He goes, yo, Chor Boogie. And it was nobody. And he goes, and so all of a sudden they said, let's go to the compound. And I'm like, what's the compound? And all of a sudden they go into the compound and they open up this parking lot. When you walk in there, Anthony, it is this you got the Wynwood walls, which is the Goldman properties, and those are like sanctioned walls.
Right.
Those are the proper walls. But let me tell you, when you go in this compound, you have over 10 murals that will blow.
Probably Lombardi property.
Yeah, you blow your socks away. You got Chor Boogie, you got My Weapon, on and on, Trek 6, on and on, of wonderful artists. Bad Panda, Trek 6. I mean, these are the street artists that are also in museums, but a lot of people look at the sanctioned ones at Wynwood Walls and forget that this project came way before Wynwood Walls. In 1995, murals were going up through Primary Flight Project. So it's
But
really,
even before Primary, please, this has been, tagging in New York and in Hialeah for forever. I want to kind of fast forward because I don't want to
want you quickly just to tell everybody
slaps about my stickers.
Your stickers.
And Free Art Friday. Free
Yes.
Art Fridays is a phenomenon loop that's going on. Registered artists is